So I made some more kabobs for James. You can see these ones look much more attractive. The beets bleed into the pineapple some, so I really should put something in between the pineapple and the beets for next time. But it looks a lot better than the fennel ones. A little more color. So we're going to talk about Mork and Mindy. This is disc 2 of season 1. And then James is going to talk about whatever he wants to talk about.
Yeah,
He has
so
a book out here.
The Concise Dictionary of Surnames. Yep. It'll be the 3rd time I've reviewed it this year.
So these are my pans. Awesome. They look like a starry sky or whatever.
Yeah, those are. I mean, they just knock Neil deGrasse Tyson for a loop, I think. But
sure. Well,
he needs to be knocked for a loop. What was that?
Anyone who likes looking at the stars might like looking at these.
Yeah. Awesome.
They're pretty fantastic as far as I'm concerned. So, Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
I have to say that watching it with James, like I watched disc 1 and I was like, not that great, whatever. But, I mean, I love Robin Williams. So, anyway, but watching it with James, way better experience. And
it's not me, it's just comedy is a social...
that's what James said. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. But it had never occurred to me before. I remember when I was a young teen, I didn't really have real friends. I had some people that I hung around, but I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to go to see a movie, and it was a comedy, and I was too shy back then to even ask any of my friends if they wanted to go. And I mean, we weren't really close anyway. So, and I don't think they would have liked anything that I liked. But, so anyway, I wanted to see this movie. It was comedy. And it turned out it wasn't good anyway. But I went on my own to the movie theater, because back then that's how you saw movies, and then all of a sudden it changed and it became wonderful, and now you can watch movies at home. And why would you go to the theater when you can watch movies at home? So anyway, but back then that's how you saw movies. And so, unless it was a made for TV movie, which you didn't want to see, but
that was the way it was.
That was the way it was. So
times have changed.
Yeah. So I went to the movie alone, and it wasn't funny, and eventually I just started sobbing. And other people in the movie theater must have just been confused or whatever. But I was just very lonely. And that went on for a while, and then life became wonderful eventually. Eventually I fell in love and all that sort of stuff. And then things got a bit better, and then things didn't, and then things got a bit better again. And after menopause, though, wow, things got way better. It's a lot of it, I think, is just hormonal. It's to do with hormones, whatever.
So alone, being alone, hopefully won't cause people to be lonely. Sarah McLachlan's father wrote one of his better lyrics was, alone, but never lonely. That's how I like to be.
Well,
if I want to have fun like a rock and roll bum, don't think the worst of me. He was a lot better with lyrics. And not that he was the greatest, but every so occasionally he was the one I recited before. It was some friends of mine think that this town just ain't so out of sight, but they've got shades around their soul, and they think they've seen the light.
That's a good one.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So,
Mary McLachlan, hope you're still alive.
Anyway, yeah, but watching comedy, way better watching comedy with somebody else. Especially somebody else who is appreciating the comedy.
Well, I like comedy. I prefer it to drama.
Yeah.
Generally. And, I consider it maybe a higher form of art. I'm not sure. It's hard to do comedy. It's hard to get stuff that people like.
Yeah, Robin Williams. He just made it seem so easy. It was so fast.
Fast.
Boy, he was fast. I don't know if there's ever been anyone as fast as him.
I'm afraid he was bipolar. It's probably made him pretty quick on the draw. They say sometimes manic depressive people or bipolar people will be talking so fast you can't make out the words. Then when they dose them up or down, it slows it down enough so that you can kind of make out the words. Still fast.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Anyway, and it's not just how fast he's
It
putting
must
out
be
the pattern.
exhausting. Once
Yeah, of
they
course.
come off.
Because they go like this.
Yeah.
And I suspect a lot of the coming down was just trying
Exhaustion.
Anyway, he's fast on the transitions too. You know, he'll go like from being a baby to, I don't know if we saw him being an old man, but whatever. You know, it's just.
And he does it all so perfectly, really.
He was pretty darn good. It's a shame that he went so soon.
Yeah.
Now, the vehicle isn't the greatest for him.
No.
Playing an alien allows him to be doing these things because he's learning stuff anew. New stuff anew. I guess I shouldn't say anew, but it's like he's a child who's learning the world, even though he's basically grown up. But Pam Dauber, no one would ever accuse her of being the greatest actor in the world. And, it's lucky for her, it's lucky for the people putting that production out, that most of her scenes are with him, because he can drag her along.
That's true.
And she can play a straight person too.
A lot of the time people didn't really appreciate the straight person as a comic in their own right, you know? Like, and so they just throw anybody into that role and say, well, they can do it. But that's not the case.
So apparently with George Burns, with his wife, he played the straight man. I've never seen the shtick.
Oh, well, we're going to have to get it out for you. Because, they're great.
I can see
team.
him doing it, you know.
Yeah.
Because he kind of always had this smile on his face. But when she died, then and of course it's easier once he became older, because all a person has to do is just make fun of themselves and people will laugh when the person gets older. But I don't think anyone ever did it as well as him. Who are some other? I used to think that it was Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. Must have been a great team but we were watching a show with them. It wasn't that good. But some of the classic straight men. Oh, David Spade.
Oh, he's so great.
Reading his autobiography, it's amazing how Lorne Michaels couldn't figure out where to fit him in to Saturday. He was doing a shtick by himself, different shticks. He came up with one thing where he was dishing the dirt. It was kind of like Hollywood gossip thing, and he did a good job there because he's so caustic, right? But then when they stuck him with Chris Farley.
Yeah. Just a perfect team. Yeah.
Awesome. Because Chris Farley was just an overgrown, overstuffed kid.
Yeah.
And David Spade was just an undersized, even more bitter old guy.
Man. Yeah, exactly. They're perfect.
Underage. Just wonderful. So there's another classic, very, very different from George Burns and Gracie Allen, was that her name? I can't remember. But what are some other ones? Wayne's World. Wayne and Garth. And it is a weird one because I think Garth is a straight man. And Wayne is irrepressibly, like laughing like this. How do people laugh that way? Some people. It's awesome. A very different formula. It's not, like people who do look for formulas aren't going to do it, I guess. But in some ways, there's more variety when it comes to straight people. in a comic team, a duo, than with the comic pair, the duo, because the comic pair usually has to have a round face. Look at Robin Williams, maybe a little bit smaller, childlike, whatever. And of course, it was easy to laugh at Gracie, whatever her name was, Allen, because she was a woman back then,
Yeah.
right? Childlike, and that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
It's funny how perceptions change,
Um,
you know, or whatever. Women
Like-
were thought of kind of like children.
Yeah.
So.
It'd be interesting for me to analyze Lucy and Desi Arnaz. He was a musician, right?
Yeah.
But I thought they had a pretty good job, but it was very traditional. Lucy, you got some explaining to do. You know, like, here he is, he's this little guy. I don't know, you know, it was just a little bit over the top. But, you know, like, what was it? You know, wah! You know, she'd be like a kid crying. Which was amazing because I used to have this idea until I started analyzing her that it was hard to do comedy, particularly play the comic figures, if you had good looks, but she had.
Great looks,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how she did it. It probably helped that she had red hair. She did have reddish or strawberry blonde hair or something like that. Looked a little bit different. I'm not sure what it is. But hope you don't mind riffing on this stuff because
You
we
do
don't
what
have
you-
that much. It's more
no.
interesting than
Then
In
talk
the
about
book.
Mork and Mindy
well,
and the book. Yeah.
Book of Surnames. I find that thrilling, you know, like, but most people just find it as dry as dust, Sahara dust.
But yeah, Robin Williams, he's as Mork, he's such a lovable person.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Robin Williams ever played anybody who wasn't, you know, anybody you dislike.
I know.
I think he.
I wonder what he was like. Well, he'd probably be very hard to handle. He'd
Yeah.
like having,
Well,
trying to take care of a 2 or 3 year old.
exactly.
Keep them out of mischief.
He'd have a lot of energy a lot of
Yeah.
the time that
Well,
would
too
be
much.
difficult to handle.
Yeah. But what are some other comic teams? We've thought of 2 women. Are there straight women? Like, you could get Joan Rivers, like someone who's caustic like that, being the straight
Oh
person.
yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
You know, there have been so few women comics
You
going
know-
back over the long run that I don't think they'd put 2 together, you know, like in the same bill.
Oh well, they. What was it? Wasn't it Kristen Wiig was in? Was it Bridesmaids with? what's
There you
her
go.
face, Right.
McCarthy or
yeah,
whatever her name
I
is.
think so.
Yeah, well, every
So
time I
that's
see Kirsten Wiig in something, I'm going, it's a different role, and she's pulling
great
it off
every time.
every
Yes.
time. That McCarthy,
So-
most of the things I've seen her in, I
She's
just laugh like
she's
crazy.
funny, yeah.
Of course, she's,
But-
you know, she's rounder and kind of got a round face and stuff like that. The funny thing is, I think one of the things I find comic is she looks like a kid, and then all of a sudden she's pouring out the cuss word.
Yeah, it's great.
It's hilarious. I'm just laughing thinking about it.
I know,
So yeah,
she's
nowadays there's more of that happening, and I think there's.
But Kristen Wiig, I mean, she's more of a straight a lot of
Yeah.
the time, right? And
I-
but
even
she
when
has a lot of flexibility.
She has a lot of flexibility. The funny thing with her, I've seen her in roles where it's comic and there's just this kind of like sadness in her eyes. But I don't think that's her personality. It's just she's thrown in this weird.
Well, I think that's the case a lot of the time. You see that with Robin Williams too. You see a bit of sadness there, and
I
like
guess.
especially at the end of the episode, it works, right? He's giving his report to his commander.
Orson, is it Orson?
Yeah, whatever. And a lot of the time, you can see that sadness in his eyes, and that just it makes you feel like, oh, the show's over or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it works. But yeah, I think that's part of what makes him so lovable. Is
Yeah.
you see that and you're like, oh, I want to protect him.
The funny thing is, you know, like I said to Pauline, I try not to exaggerate these things. About these things, I don't think I'm a 70s kind of guy, early 70s, but I went through the 70s without seeing one episode of Mork and Mindy all the way through.
Yeah, well,
I
this
don't
would be
think I
great
even saw
experience
half
for
of
you.
a show. Like Pauline was reeling through quickly, as she does, through the opening credits.
Yeah,
And I
the
didn't
closing.
recognize one little scene as it was flipping by. I don't think I ever saw the opening credits, which means I never consciously sat down. All right, Mork and Mindy's on. I'm going to be watching it. I basically didn't have a TV in the 70s. But even like when I was visiting my parents, like I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it.
Well, I
was too
can't
busy
imagine that
because
they
of
would have liked watching that.
Oh, my dad, I think, would have hated Robin Williams.
Yeah, I think
The manic sort of thing. My dad was, he was always seemed to be a little bit under average charging for a person. I think I'm a little bit over. I don't take after
Yeah,
my dad's side of
you're-
the family. I think I take after
Yeah, you
my
seem
uncle and
to
my
be
mom's side.
quite up a lot of the time. Yeah.
Always a little
Whereas
bit.
I'm a little bit down.
Maybe a little bit like her dad.
Yeah.
So we kind of even it out.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think I really psych her.
No.
You can't even recall me. Even when I had cancer and was classed as terminal, I can't remember really getting down.
Now, what kind of bird do you think that is?
I don't know. I saw a weird little bird on the gravel
Well,
by.
hello, darling. It came over. It's like,
it said
well, this
hi.
is
Well,
what
there
I
you go.
am. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's now in the apple tree.
Yeah.
So it wanted to come over and show me.
It wants
There
to be
it
on the
goes.
Oh, it took off.
Yeah.
But I saw a weird little bird and maybe a couple other birds down in the gravel by the Magnum.
Oh.
I what's going on? Why is it on the ground? And then I looked in there. It was a fledgling, and it hadn't learned how to fly yet.
Oh, no.
And the other two would have been, they weren't
Parents.
Magnum.
Yeah, trying to protect
Very,
it.
very concerned. And hopefully, I've seen one bird that I rescued from a blue jay. It might have been a starling or something like that, fledgling. And the blue jay was stalking it in my yard. And the little bird kind of escaped from me and got over on the neighbor's side of the fence and got away from the blue jay. I don't like yelling at birds, but I yelled at the blue jay, and guess what? He was smart. He knew.
Yeah.
I had it in for him. Not that it was going to kill him or anything like
No,
that.
no.
But, and
We
then
like the blue
what I
jays,
saw,
too.
it was
We
like
just don't
it was
watching
like
them murder little baby birds.
a resurrection. I saw the little bird somewhere or another in the space of he learned how to fly. So she or she and stuff like that. So I didn't want to get involved because one summer we tried to save 3 little
Yeah, that was
fledglings and stuff like that.
Boy,
We
it's
just had
tough.
bad luck.
It's such. It's
I
so
had
hard.
a hard time handling it, so I just moved on. I didn't want to hang around. 5 minutes?
I think more like 10.
10 minutes.
But I
Anyway.
can always just turn it off if you've had enough.
Well, we'll
And if
talk
you want
about.
to try to eat your food,
I'm
it's
gonna.
hard to keep the flies off of it.
Yeah, Concise Dictionary of Surnames, and I was shocked because I thought I'd been going through this. Well, I don't think I finished it up.
There we go. Hat for the camera.
I started it a long time ago, but the first time I finished it was May the 1st, 2026, and then I liked it so much I finished it up, refinished 8th of May, one day after my birthday, 2026. And now it's 25th or something like that of July. And I'm 4 pages away from finishing the body of the text. And a few pages, maybe the same number of pages when it comes to introduction, which really isn't important, but I go through the introduction. I go through the index books and so on and so on. I go through everything. Anyway, it leaves a lot of names out, but it's basically English surnames or British surnames. British surnames would be a better way of characterizing it because they do have, let me see, the way to check is how a Scottish diminutive Michael, Mitchie, right? Mitch, I think, Mitchell might be the Irish version of Michael. So I'm going to check out the mix, see if they're in here. So yeah, there's lots of them. So McBride, son of a devotee of St. Bridget. So it has British names in there. They have a few other weird names in here. They got Maloney, that's Irish, O'Connell. But they had the occasional German name in here. I'm not sure why, and stuff like that. But It's if you're interested in these kind of things, it's actually pretty good. It's a nice little handleable thing. It's almost like, feel that, waterproof.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So you can take it out.
So you can spill your Green's iced tea on it. Daily
Not that I'd
Green's
want to. I'm telling you, this Green's iced tea is about the best drink that Pauline's made. The greens are probably pretty healthy, right? And
I don't know. I can bring out the package for you. I think there's a lot of stuff in there, but probably most of it is like the color from the spirulina, because that stuff's, the pigment is so rich in it.
yeah.
But there's a lot of other things in there.
So yeah, what I've done here is I've put in names of people like Smallwood. It's got here from Old English, meaning someone who lives by the narrow wood. And that's the weird thing, you know, like when you see small, you think of little. But the German equivalent, and originally the same word, is schmal, and it means narrow.
Oh, interesting.
And check out what it means. Smallwood means narrow wood. That's the old-fashioned meaning of small in English, not just in German. So I put Joey, as in Joey Smallwood, who was the leader, longtime leader of Newfoundland, and I think he's the person that brought Newfoundland into Confederation, and that was almost in my lifetime. Everyone thinks they've been around in Canada forever, but they haven't been. Samson can be traced back to biblical Samson, meaning son of Shamash. Who's Shamash? Well, Shamash is son, and capitalized S at the beginning. It means basically the sun god. But it's got stuff like that in there. It's there are a few derivations that I am a little bit skeptical about, but so for example, sailor, from Old French. Now, sailor, what would that mean to you? Sailor.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Old French, meaning a dancer. I go, what? In German, you got Seila, which means rope. Could be a rope dancer or something like that, but that's not French. So, yeah, I think sailor, spelled that way at least, is someone who got out there on the water and stuff like that. Rod, from Old English, meaning a clearing. And you know, in German, you see, that doesn't exist in English, but in German, Roden, R-O-D-E-N, means to clear. Woods and stuff like that. So, rocker, from Old English, meaning someone who likes loud, fast music. No. Someone who lives at or near the rock, or from Middle English, meaning distaff, a stick which holds flax or wool when spinning, and therefore applied to the maker of distaff. So here's one, Rockefeller. So it made it into the American tradition, although I think this might have been published in England. Let me just check and see. It was printed and bound in Finland, but it's Isle of Man. So that's strictly speaking not England. Douglas is the capital of the Isle of Man. So that's where Manx cats are theoretically come from. So it came from Great Britain. But they do have Rockefeller in there, and what does it mean? Meaning rye field, not rock field, but someone living close in or by rye field, Rockefeller. I wouldn't have guessed that. Here's one, Rochester. So Rochester, New York is the big and famous one, but the original one is actually east of London. And Rossiter comes from that. I knew someone called Rossiter, so I put that in.
Boy.
A town of bridges, at the bridges. What? It would be, I figure it's Rock Castra. Castra is Latin for camp. And they're all over the place. Leicester, or Leicester, however you want to mispronounce it. They're all over England. The Romans set up all sorts of camps there, and they called them castras. And then they got changed to Chester in later English. So that one I'm very skeptical about. Town of bridges, at the bridges. What's that about? Chester might be town. Bridge, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, so does it come recommended? Not to most people, but if you like words and names, onomastics is the fancy word for the study of names, so Go for it. Just don't buy it new. Get it out of the library. I got it from the library, cheap.